Rodriguez.
Yeah, my name is Barbee.
My name is Tommy Guerrero.
I am Chuck Treece from Blacktop. I started skating at age 13. My father bought me a plastic skateboard, and then I just stayed on, you know what I mean? 30 plus years, 30 years later.
Got into skateboarding when I was it was a summer between 6th grade and 7th grade. I was about 12 years old, and a friend that I hung out with all the time got a skateboard for his birthday. I could tell he was having way more fun than I was on my bike, so I wanted to get a skateboard too.
Basically, I was 10 and a half, and I was rummaging through my grandpa's closet, and I found a skateboard, and I'd never seen one. I wanted to try to learn how to use it, so I learned skating on my knee for like a year. Saw some skaters skating on their feet, doing jumps and stuff, and I was just like, all right, I gotta do this. And ever since.
I grew up skating on a hill in the San Francisco, and it's called the Sunset District, where it's very hilly. A friend of mine had a board called a Black Knight. It was clay wheels, wood board, not very safe. So growing up on a hill, just like growing up anywhere, you adapt to your surroundings, right? So I adapted to skating hills. So that's how my style evolved. I guess that's kind of what people know me for. Nothing special.
At age, maybe like 18, and that was 1982, skateboarding had crashed. You know what I mean? It wasn't as big as it was in the 70s. So we decided, me and my friends, that once we were good enough and we made an impression in California, we were like, well, let's just turn pro just for the sake of doing it and having fun. You know, it was more of a fun thing. It wasn't much of a business as it is today. Both things are still fun, just that we were helping build something that we loved, skateboarding.
Well, you know, like when I got into skateboarding, it was just skating around my neighborhood and just trying to learn to balance and how to get around. And then eventually we heard about quarter pipes, and a friend that we skated with got a quarter pipe, and then we learned to skate that and learn tricks. And then that quarter pipe, one year I broke my wrist, and during that time I couldn't skate the ramps anymore, so I was skating street a lot. And that time that I spent skating street, I just kind of got more excited about street skating because it was just it was newer. There wasn't a laundry list of tricks I had to learn. Street skating didn't, so there was this freedom, there's this kind of excitement, and we could just make up things and not play catch up. I put my faith in Jesus, and I thank him for allowing me to be a part of something that I love at a time when it was just starting.
I just wanted to skate and feel the freedom and the creativity. But I guess when I was around 14, you know, a skate shop wanted to sponsor me, you know, where I lived in my town in Sacramento. And from then on, just, you know, got discounts on boards. And then I entered contests and went to San Francisco a lot and got into the scene and, you know, met people and kept skating. And sooner or later, you know, people wanted to sponsor me and help my good habit.
I think if you have a bit of talent, but if you have the passion and you have the tenacity and the perseverance, it's a specific person that becomes a skateboarder, because skating is you fall down, you get up, you fall down, you get up, you fall down, you get up, you fall down, you get up. Over and over and over and over and over and over and over, all day long for years. And you're trying a trick, you try it 100 times. So you have to be very tenacious, you know, just like I can do it, I can do it, I can do it, and take some pain. So if you do something long enough, you have a deep bit of talent, and you do it long enough, you might be good at it. I'm just grateful to still be around. I mean, that's the truth, you know.
My love for music started at age 2. My mom and dad told me that I would take out all the like soup ladles, like when you scoop soup out. I'd set pots and pans around me and bang on them from age 2. Started playing drums at age 6. So music has been in my life, forever. My father played saxophone, and I played in my father's band when they would let me jam with him. So. And music came first, and then skateboarding was second, and then I found a way to kind of make both worlds make sense to me.
Music happened right along with skating. Like, before I got into skateboarding, I wanted to play guitar. I come from the MTV generation. Like, MTV had just came out. When MTV first came out, they were 24/7. They were all day, all night. They didn't have content for all that, in the sense of they didn't have music videos yet. So they were just showing a lot of concerts. I didn't really care too much about the singer. I was like, oh, that's cool. But when the guitarist came up and soloed, I was like, that's cool. So I always wanted to play guitar, but I didn't know anybody who had a guitar. So it wasn't until I got into skateboarding that a lot of the guys that I started skating with played music. They played in punk bands. Guitar took a back seat to skating. The more I progressed in skating, the less I played guitar. So it was always in there, but it wasn't until high school that it really kind of surfaced again. If I had any injury that kept me from skating, then I had a lot of time to develop and learn to play guitar. Yeah.
I started playing music a few years after I started skating. So I've been playing music the entire time. Like when I was pro, everything. I didn't have a band or anything most of the time because I was too busy traveling. So when I would go to places, I'd always try to get together with local musicians and play. So when I went to Philly with Chuck that's where he lives, we would always connect. Like I'd have a demo, and then after we'd connect, and he'd get a studio space, bring gear, and we'd jam all night. This is literally 25 years ago. So I've always had music in me. I come from a musical background, genetically, because my grandfather was a jazz guitar player and a violinist. My grandmother was the vocalist of their band, which is a big band, big jazz band. And then my father and his 3 brothers were all musicians, grew up in San Francisco, playing in all the clubs. And my father played every instrument. He played, and so my brother. He's an amazing guitar player, way better than I'll ever be. So it's in our blood, it's genetics. I probably had no choice.
The cool thing about skating is that I think it opens you up so creatively, and because people like to listen to music when they skate, whether they're headphones or jam sessions, someone's playing the radio, so I think like me, there's a big possibility that later down the line, after you've done so many years of skating and you love music at the same time, maybe because kids realize, oh, I can skate, I started from the ground up, I could barely push, maybe I could learn an instrument and learn how to play music, which I love to hear when I skate. And same thing, that's what happened to me, like, oh, like I want to play drums. Even though I played drums when I was a kid and when I was first skating too, but I didn't take it as serious as skating. But down the line, after years of being pro and traveling, I was like, what else can I get into? I still have time to learn other things, and that was music.
The music that I grew up on were like R&B, which is like soul music, blues music, rock music, a little bit of jazz, That was probably it. 'Cause my father's band, he had a top 40 band, which is a cover band. My father's band practiced in our house, in our living room. So I was able to hear it at a young age, and not just one style of music, like all styles. All styles of what they played, you know what I mean?
At home, rock, 60s rock, blues, jazz.
Oh, at home it was
Yeah.
soul music and jazz. My parents, because my mom is from Alabama, my dad's from Arkansas. They love Motown, they love Stax. That's why when I got into skateboarding, it was me bringing punk rock into the house. They were just like, what's this? But they were super supportive and let me play it. But it's funny because it all comes around full circle. I mean, a lot of my favorite stuff is what I grew up with.
I lived with different families, you know, we all grew up in big households, you know, like 10 or more people in a very small house. And so lots of different music, from Johnny Mathis and Tina Turner, and then local like Tower of Power. But I grew up listening to everything, you know, lots of rock and roll. From hip hop, I really got more into jazz. What really hooked me when I was very young was Booker T and the MGs and the song Green Onions, which was a hit back in the 60s. And I was very young and I remember hearing it, and I was so moved by it. I was like, what is this? And it was instrumental music, right? And it spoke to me. So, coincidence that I play instrumental music? Maybe, maybe not.
My favorite artist first would be Jimi Hendrix.
Stevie Wonder,
Marvin Gaye,
Aretha Franklin,
El Chicano,
Mike Watt,
James Brown,
Elvis Costello,
The Cure,
Curtis Mayfield,
John Coltrane,
Joy Division,
Buddy Rich,
and D. Boone from the Minutemen,
Dusty Springfield,
Paco de Lucia,
Dennis Chambers,
Wes Montgomery,
Rush,
Carlos Santana,
Paul McCartney,
Joe Pass.
Bad Brains,
you know, Manu Chao.
and also Bob Marley.
I mean, I could go on forever.
Blacktop started,
I'll give you a condensed version.
Tommy and Ray and Matt were doing a skate tour for Slap magazine.
My friend, the photo editor, got inspired by this National Geographic article he came across called the Blues Trail. He got an idea of like, let's get skaters who play music to do this skate/music road trip.
Went through, you know, a certain part of the states down to Mississippi.
You hit everything in between, you know, Arkansas and Memphis and Louisiana.
And recorded music along the way, skating and just playing, recording music in the hotel, in the bathrooms.
Met up with a friend in Chicago that let us record in his studio.
So we released the music through the magazine as a download. You know, the article was in the magazine, the skate trip, and the music accompanied the skate trip as a download, so it was free.
Tommy came up with the name BLKTOP Project, and then
A friend of ours who has Galaxia Records, who you know, we worked with over the years, wanted to put it out. So we wanted to make a full-length album, so that's how Chuck got brought in.
And Ray asked me to play drums on a couple of songs because they had other drummers that were involved with the project. And then
I got with Matt and went to Sacramento because Matt lives in Sacramento.
You know, a little bit of Latin flavor, a little bit of funk, a little bit of blues, soul, groove, psychedelic, you know, improv.
So then once the album came out, then people were like, hey, would you come play?
and touring over in Japan and now touring in Mexico. So
Getting an opportunity to be here and travel with friends and play music is amazing.
Blacktop Project probably would be music that you would love, or music that we would love, and then how do you take that and then make it into your own? You know what I mean?
Skateboarders making music.
Coming together through skating and doing something that we love outside of skating, which is music.
It's just honest. You know, we all wear our hearts on our sleeves when we play live. You know, that's what you see is what you get, and hopefully people dig it.
Something for everyone.